Wow. Leading off with Metallica?
Damn.
It's got to be an excuse.
Damn. It's the greatest excuse of all, my friend.
And some of you might be saying, wait a minute. Why are you guys leading with Metallica? That doesn't seem to make any sense, especially not a new song. Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that sadness at a later date. No, it's his mighty birthday yet again. I think we did a podcast this time last year.
Probably.
And it landed on his birthday.
Probably try to figure out a way to make it a national holiday every year or something.
I think we should. I think it should be.
Yeah. Kind of interesting. We actually kind of were discussing this slightly before we got started, and that is the video itself.
Yeah, the video for one, they lost a lot of their core fan base because they always swore they'd never do a video to promote their music.
Yeah.
But then MTV kind of started taking off. And
would you guys like to make something called Money?
Well, initially it's probably an easy decision. Be like, no, fuck that. We're not doing that. Your channel clearly doesn't cater to our fans. And
right.
then Headbangers Ball comes out, and thankfully they'd already put out one. And then Black Enter Sandman video came out.
Right.
That had to have a lot to do with why that album sold so well.
Kind of put metal on the mainstream map. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not talking shit about like anybody who's out at the time, like your who are those morons? Motley Crue,
Yes.
or anybody like that. You know, the hair side.
Your GNRs.
GNR, a little late '80s, yeah.
Yeah. Appetite for Destruction came out like 80. I think it was recorded in 88, came out in 89.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking like your 84, 85 crowd that
Right.
started to really benefit from their exposure on MTV.
Yeah.
So,
They still did. I mean, like initially, Headbangers Ball was chock full of the hair bands.
Yeah.
They had no idea what that show was going to be about. And then they changed, I can't remember the name of the first host, but then they changed to Ricky Rackman. And suddenly, like, this guy knew about metal.
Right.
You were going to get metal on this show, and it changed the whole thing. It was super popular from, like, 1990 to 94.
Right.
Even when Rackman cut his hair. And then you'd see Alice in Chains on there all the time.
Sure.
Near the end of it, which was kind of cool. There's an episode of them going to the water park. It's hilarious.
Well, you know, and I mean, and they were experimenting around with other things, like for even the shit they wouldn't play, they would like have on Beavis and Butthead, and you would think, like, oh my God, this must be some weird like 3 a.m. shit that they must be doing on MTV to have this on. No,
Yeah.
It was just off the wall weird shit that MTV wasn't going to touch anyway, but it worked it out pretty well inside of that animated show.
Beavis and Butthead, that was the first time I'd heard Corrosion and Conformity.
Well, I'm a little older than you are.
Yeah.
I saw them at Sound Season El Paso when I was a fucking sophomore in high school.
Yeah, that was like right at their inception.
Yeah, 86.
Yeah, they were a bit of a different band then.
Yeah.
I heard,
they're very different, yeah.
I heard it was Clean My Wounds off of Deliverance.
They were straight up punk back in the late 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, this was like that grunge, almost like doom rock.
Right. Yeah, very different Corrosion of
riffy,
Conformity.
yeah.
Yeah, they kept reinventing themselves like every 5 years.
Yeah, and Pepper Keenan, he's kind of always been with them, right?
Yeah, no, that's been like the I don't think always. I don't think there's any founding members left in those, with those guys. But he was like in a pretty early inception though.
They put that new album out. We like heard a jam off
like
of it.
a year ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, not long ago.
Didn't listen to anything else off of it.
Because it's not really my jam anymore.
It's tough, yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm going to listen to COC, I'm going to listen to the old shit.
Everybody loves a little cock, right?
That's right.
All right. It's
maybe not a little one.
It is the Mead, Metal, and MMA podcast, you fools.
Oh,
where we
man.
get together weekly and talk shit. Sometimes about good things, usually about negative things. But
yeah. Well, we like to keep it negative.
But nonetheless, though, I don't know, kind of riff on a few odds and ends here and there. Notice living here in eastern New Mexico, we've been getting played with by Mother Nature.
Yeah, getting teased.
We have what you call the monsoon season for our friends listening in Halifax that comes through, and what it is, it's annual, and it's like late July through very early September. And you may or may not get rain. Who knows? Maybe it'll rain like an inch and a half. Maybe you ain't going to get shit for a week. You never know.
Yeah.
You kind of hope you get something. Right now, though, we haven't been really getting much. It's kind of bad. We get rain clouds, just no rain. It's kind of like akin to a lady showing off her titties and go, nope, you can't touch these. Out in public, as one does.
Especially out in public.
Yeah.
Damn, you live in a different town than I do, man.
I live in a different world than most people.
Touche.
See things very differently. But nonetheless, though, it's but yeah, so maybe we might get like blasted by rain and knocks the power out and shit like that, which would be bad for the podcast, but it'd be good for, I don't know, folks living here. But
Yeah.
I don't see that happening probably before the end of the show. So, by the way, the show today probably going to run slightly long, just because there's a lot of information.
There's a lot to talk about today in a realm where we're usually, the only time we have a lot to talk about is if there's a big fight card, which there kind of is tomorrow, but
Yeah.
that's not really our main focus on this one for probably the first time. Well, we'll get into that later.
It is, but it won't. It is and it's not. I don't know. And there's not a lot of music today. So yeah. So initially I thought, well, maybe it's going to be kind of a short one until you started telling me what's going on with UFC. And we'll see. I've got kind of an issue with those fucking guys, but
Yeah.
let's
Time to lay it all out there, man.
yeah, let's get right into it with well, how's your week? Which some people say, well, occasionally when Kevin's like on his rage shit, then that kind of is the highlight of the show. But that's only every few weeks. But generally, it's kind of your hospitality industry update
Yes, and
with our very own Brandon.
I got a good one. I got a big one.
Some dealing with meth and MMA people and
No MMA in this one, but
Just-
you
just
nailed it
meth.
on the head
Okay.
the first one. Yeah.
All right.
This is a meth-related story. So, yeah. Sunday was fine. No big deal. Your average Sunday night. Go in Monday. I'm there a half an hour. And usually when I get there, I'll just kind of chill out in the office, kind of get my mind ready to get through the night, and I'll watch security cameras.
Okay.
And I see this couple coming down the hallway of the first floor that I shit you not, the woman looked like your John Q average local gal. The guy looked like the homeless caddy from Happy Gilmore.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Only ginger and probably weighed 40 less pounds.
And missing a shoe?
He was wearing sandals.
Okay.
But same style of clothing, even, I would say. Like really ratty polo shirts.
Probably taking a bath in a pond, local
Yeah.
pond somewhere, a
And
cow pond.
And like, I'm shocked to see him with this moderately attractive, definitely younger local woman.
Like a Patel 7, Lubbock 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's actually pretty spot on. They come down to the desk to ask about the Wi-Fi password. And that just blew me away immediately. Like, shit, I didn't even know you were sober enough to even know how to use this technology.
Oh, were they acting drunk?
No, but the woman wasn't. The guy was not there. He was not there. And he was one doing all the talking.
Oh, wow.
So I give him this little slip paper that has all the fucking instructions to get shit done. And they thank me and go about their way. About another 20 minutes later. Now, the room is under this girl's name. She's responsible for the room. About a half hour later, this Mexican kid, probably about early 20s, I'd say,
Okay.
like walks. He didn't drive. He walks into the hotel from the, because I was
Straight out from the highway.
I was outside having a smoke, and I saw him just like fucking walk up to the parking lot, and comes in. I'm like, "Can I help you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just here to pick somebody up." Like, well, that's an interesting way to put it, since you fucking walked over here. I'm sure they're just as capable of walking back.
Right. And all this shit's like midnight or later, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's at the witching hour, at the
Yeah.
weirdness.
Okay.
And so this kid just kind of sits in my lobby, fucking around on his fucking phone, waiting for this mystery person. So I let it go, because I'm like, oh, what is he going to do? And about another half hour later, the woman that came down initially left with him, and they walked off.
Leaving the fun fella behind.
Yeah, leaving the homeless caddy man in this room. Like, this is very, very interesting. And it gets better, because about 2 hours later, a guy comes down, actually drove, little short, prematurely gray Mexican dude.
Looks like me.
Wearing white, yeah,
Okay,
but
got
like
it.
short and portly. You're not really that prematurely gray either. This is like legit.
Okay.
Comes down to extend the room for a night and get a room key. I'm like, well, I can't do any of that because you're not this woman.
Okay. So this is somebody else from that same room.
Or involved in the same situation.
How many people were staying in that room?
Apparently about...
Is this shit going to turn into one of these like fucking 30 people and a bunch of like jugglers and circus acts? And
I would say, to condense the story, probably about a half dozen doing a prostitution ring.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because the next morning, prematurely gray Mexican man and homeless caddy guy come down for breakfast together. 5 minutes later, this red pickup pulls up into the little canopy area for people that are coming to check in. It's not a goddamn parking spot.
Right.
Parks his shitty pickup, comes in, and I shit you not, this guy is about as tall, probably like 6'4".
Okay.
Tattooed up, blonde, probably in his 50s, been out in the sun way too long, wearing a pink striped like muscle shirt and pants that like they used to wear playing basketball in the 70s.
Okay.
And his fingernails were painted purple.
Was it Dog the Bounty Hunter?
His emaciated fucking southwestern cousin, maybe. And he comes down and just sits and starts eating breakfast with him.
Okay.
So
as people tend to do on your shift.
The weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So weird I couldn't break it up. I just was kind of in awe of it.
So those two guys, the weird caddy guy and the gray-headed Mexican fellow, are basically man whores. Is that what you're telling me?
They're either doing horn or selling fucking meth out of that hotel room.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe they're entertaining prostitutes rather than running them.
Oh, okay. Because I misunderstood.
Yeah, which is
like,
weird.
Sounds like a lot of dudes for a weird prostitution ring.
Because the girl came back.
Okay.
The girl came back the very next day. But the last part of this story, because after that I didn't see him anymore. Thankfully, I got to fucking leave and never return until Sunday night. The homeless caddy comes down at about 3:30 in the morning, and he goddamn, it's so goddamn. I'm trying to gain my composure here. He comes down, asks me again about the Wi-Fi shit.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, totally, got it. And buys like a little, we have like little microwavable raviolis that you can buy, the little Chef Boyardee microwavable tins.
Yeah.
For like $2, buys one of those.
Damn, your rooms have microwaves in them now?
Fuck yeah, they have microwaves and fridges.
Man.
Flat screen TVs. It's no longer just an hourly fuck pad now.
Because that motel right down the road from you, like they got like hobo barrels. You can warm your shit up there. That's
yeah, that's basically it. So the guy's like, oh, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. And before this, I was told by one of the girls that worked on a shift before me that this guy told him that he had dementia.
Okay.
Which, bullshit. So he leaves. I'm like, thank God that was the end of that. I see him because then I immediately go and watch the cameras. Make sure he's not fucking
hell
around.
Yeah.
And he gets like 10 feet down the hallway, stops, kind of looks around. I'm like, oh shit. What's this motherfucker planning? He comes back to the fucking lobby, looks me dead in my eyes. Can you tell me what room I'm in?
Oh my God.
I'm like 122. 122.
Isn't that why you would save like the little sleeve that the the door key comes in, so that way you know?
Well, that would help if you still had the fucking key.
Oh, because he locked himself out?
Yeah, he came back and said, my key doesn't work. Had a key. The fucking key was from the Holiday Inn Express next door.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, immediately, like red flag just going up.
Immediately, so keys from different hotels don't work in other hotels.
Yeah, and especially that tells me whatever the fuck you're doing over here, you're also doing over there.
Jesus,
paying
yeah,
an extra
absolutely.
$40 a night.
Yeah, run on a meth ring, yeah.
Yeah, but thankfully, after that, I didn't see the people again.
I've got nothing to compare to that.
Yeah.
I do have a little bit of a weird moment this week. Well, I got to back it up actually like 3 weeks ago. Had some dude come in from the Air Force. We have a base here locally.
Yeah.
Comes into my place of employment, and as always happens with weirdos, like I'm the only one there. He comes in and says, hey, I want to look into getting an internship here. And I said, man, I'm sorry. I not the dude. I just do news. That's all I do.
Do you get a lot of requests for that? Internships at the station?
Not really.
No? I was going to say, that seems like kind of an odd request for the
kind
area.
of. Well, you do. Like, when when the university's in session.
Now, that would make more sense, yeah.
But No. So I was like, no, you got to come back talk to the general manager. It's like, oh, well, when's that? And I was like, so yeah, this is their schedule and blah, blah, blah. All right, fine. Don't see the guy. 3 weeks. 3 weeks go by. Suddenly he comes in yesterday. And one of my coworkers is there and has access to, like, I don't know, applications and shit like that.
Yeah.
So he's happily filling this thing out, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, man, so when's your EAS, the end of active service?
Uh-huh.
He's like, yeah, man, April. Fucking, hold on. Let me do some math real fast here. We're talking like 9 months away? What are you, birthing a child and then you're looking for some kind of an internship? I mean, I don't know, you know. He's like, yeah. He's, that's really, and he's going on about what he wants to do in our company, and that's fine. I don't really care. I have no play on
Trying to suck y'all's various genitals.
Which really is not, I'm the last person you want to suck my genitals.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to say various genitals ever again.
I think that sounds like a really good name for a band. Maybe we need to consider that for our 80s stuff. I don't know. But anyway, but so we, so this guy's still filling out his stuff and everything else. And he's like looking at his phone for all of his contact information and shit. It's like, fine. So I'm getting ready to wander off, and I hear my coworker say something. Oh no, he tells her, he says, "Hey, is there a blank for me to fill in what my rank is right now?" She went, "I don't know. Whatever your." In your history, your work history, like whatever that's at, just put that down, I guess. He said, well, I kind of want to put it down now because I'm not going to be at the same rank probably here in the next couple of months. And he ain't talking promotion, friend.
Holy shit.
Yeah, going to get busted down. And as it was, I don't know my Air Force ranks too well. Let me just say this shit. This guy wasn't in any danger of ordering people around.
Wow. Was he a kind of older guy?
No, he looks like a socially awkward dude in his mid-20s, maybe.
Oh, kick-ass.
Yeah, so he's wanting to get as many applications out so he can put that shit in right now that he's like an E3, because here pretty soon, he ain't going to be an E3.
Oh, wow.
Priorities.
I know what he did.
I don't know. I don't think that's some shit you ought to be throwing around at a place you want to get an internship.
Like what, that is the too much information realm right there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're thinking about hiring you as an intern, but so how are you on being a drug mule, sir?
Can you handle that?
I don't know. And if it's somebody that's this happy about getting out all the way down the road in April,
I'm surprised he didn't just like bring you a piss sample that day.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, sir, but we really don't do these around here. But thanks for the piss.
We will put this with the rest of the piss.
Have that in the closet over here. But I'm obviously certainly looking forward to.
Yeah, we both basically got to deal with a certain kind of odd of our particular area.
A segment of society we probably would not engage with if we were to, I don't know,
fuck that noise,
playing in a famous band or some shit.
No way. I barely come over here.
Yeah, well, and even then, I don't know. That's probably against the better advice. But
probably.
All right. Let's get into the segments for the week. The Mead, Meadowland, MMA podcast. Mead side, we got really nothing going on except...
I bought a bottle.
One. Well, yes, you did. One very big one. And this is something I don't know that we've ever addressed on the show. We've talked about it before. If you have like upcoming like a wedding or a bar mitzvah or...
christening, a bris.
A quinceañera. And you need, like, you're wanting like a very specialized batch of mead for your event. We can do that.
I think we've discussed that a little bit. Talking about like the custom label.
Yeah, maybe, but it's been a long time, right?
Yeah, like that was in our infancy, I think.
Yeah, we're actually looking at doing that. I don't really want to reveal the client, but let's just note that's something that can be done.
Yeah.
And that is something, because we're not selling it to the mass public or anything like that. We're not violating the draconian fuck laws in New Mexico.
The old fuck laws.
So we can certainly do that. I mean, if you've got something coming up, some bachelor party or some shit like that, and you think a case of mead will kind of put you over the top, or whatever the case might be, I don't know. Maybe somebody died and you're happy they're gone and you want to go ahead and celebrate properly. We can do that.
Yeah, we'll put their face on a label and it can feel like you're drinking their very soul every time you crack open a bottle.
Well, as you do.
That's what I do.
So, yeah, we can do that. We do have somebody we're working with, and we're going to be putting together some stuff. We put together a very formulaic flavor profile that really addresses the various yeasts that we utilize, the various honeys that we would be willing to utilize, and other amendments.
Right.
So we can do it. And by the way, and if you're a fan of what we do, maybe you want to do this because it comes out cheaper than buying it by the bottle.
Yes.
Or by the donation for the bottle.
And I feel like I think we'd also be willing to try something new, but that would have to be agreed upon that, hey, this is if this is a flavor profile you want, we'll do it. But I mean, shit, there's really not a whole lot of guarantees it will turn out because usually we'll run an experimental batch and then go from there.
And I did bring that up with the client. And I said, look, here's what we can do is that we can do a 1 gallon batch and experiment with it. The problem is a 1 gallon batch is not going to turn out the same way as a 5 gallon.
It's not comparable. We've learned that a couple times.
Usually it'll be better at the 5 gallon stage, than it is at the experimental stage.
Right.
But no, so I think what I'm going to do instead is come up with a worksheet that's going to address the things, what your expectations are, and then we'll work within those. Now, this particular client, I'm not going to worry about it too much, but you, at that point, once we come up with that and we begin the work on this, then that's when we'll go ahead and get a little contract signed, and that's when the money will exchange hands, whatever. But
that's right.
But nonetheless, we're available for doing that, and the reason we are is because we are home brewers, and that would be a private transaction between parties for a special event.
Right. And like I said, it's I think it'd be really cool.
And I mean, and that's the other thing too is that this particular client's already got a logo for their business, so it's good. It's going to be good. I mean, so yeah, it's on me now to come up with what the flavor profile worksheet will be. But if any of you are interested in doing that, get a hold of Brandon over the YouTube channel page you're on right now.
That's right.
And
Stop me in the street.
Yeah, come into his hotel high on meth.
Don't do that. Don't become a story on the Friday podcast.
Other than that, I think we'll probably. I was going to actually get into a bottle of Long Ships this evening that we've had chilling in the fridge until I found out that August 3rd is International Beer Day.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would be committing treason if I didn't put my heart and soul and loins into the International Beer Day.
I'm going balls deep in International Beer Day. Oh, man.
That's the Mead update, which some of you might be saying, wait a minute, I thought we were at risk of running long here. You assholes have only been talking for like 22 minutes. Well, MMA, this is where things get a little crazy.
Fans of the MMA portion of our podcast, stay tuned because
it's on the way. We're bringing gold this week. Metal, okay, let's get to this. Really not so much. New releases this week, not much.
I have one new release to talk about.
Okay,
and that's
let's do that before I get into the outrage or the attaboy, whatever the case might be, whatever your perspective is. So, what is your new release for the week?
There is a band, been around shit.
Been around shit.
Okay. Been around a lot of shit in their lives. That's probably true. I think they're from Arizona. Named Psycho Stick. They're best known for doing the song, which is appropriate for a day like today, called Beer. It was a massive hit in like 2006, and they got super popular over it. They got a new album coming out. Actually, they announced it and released it in the same day.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, because I saw they had like a live webcast and album announcement. I was like, oh, cool. All right, I'm curious to see what they're working on. And they announced the album, and it's like, and it's out right now.
So they're like the anti-Winter Sun.
Yeah. It's like, we're going to announce this album, and now you can have it. I mean, it doesn't really work for anticipation, but it certainly does work for being like, hey, this new album's out right now. There is no wait. The album's called Do.
Okay.
And if I'm not even going to try to explain Psycho Stick. Psycho Stick is a metal band with a little bit of technicality that talk about like dick and fart jokes all the time.
Oh, good. Okay. So the ladies love them then.
Yeah, ladies dig. There are lines of strange waiting for these kind folks.
As the ladies I know, oh yeah, you lost me at dick and fart jokes. We're
yes.
good.
Do has classic tracks such as Bacon, Egg, and Cheese on Toast with Sriracha. A song,
Is this a restaurant menu?
basically is a song called Keys, about losing your keys. A song called We Are a Band.
Is this a punk band? Because that's the shit that punk bands were doing like in the 80s.
They're a little edgier than punk.
Like the Dead Milkmen, they were putting together shit like that, like with on their album Big Lizard in My Backyard.
My personal favorite off this album is Introvert Party Time.
Okay. That's
followed quickly by Thinking with Your Dick and Uncle Material.
Well, there's your new.
Yes. Well, and I'll let you sample a little bit of that a little later.
There is your new release for the week, friends.
From yours truly. Fucking check it out. Fans of Tenacious D.
Oh, okay. So
go
there
check
it is. All right. So, all right. I was trying to think, what the hell is
Oh,
the
yeah,
title?
this
does not sound like some shit you would probably be into.
They're a metal band. It's a metal release, but they're a comedy band.
Okay. All right. Well, who doesn't like to laugh at a little bit of metal?
I'm telling you, hey, sometimes it's great. Sometimes you want to just fucking strangle somebody for even thinking about putting it on the radio.
Well, now we move along to this one, and it's a story involving the one of the founding members of the band Tyr from Faroe Islands. Tyril, I think, is the pronunciation there. It's either that or Turgil, but I don't think that they hit a hard J. I think it's Tyril.
Is it Tyril? Yeah, I was like calling him Turgi.
I don't think so.
Because they don't say Tyr, they say like Thoyer.
Right.
Like
well, anyway, but so he posts something, and it was reposted by the band on Facebook and Twitter. Said, "This is it. I'm now officially leaving the band Tyr after 17 years. After months of thinking this through carefully, I've finally come to the decision that it's time for me to quit. The reason is very simple. I have no desire whatsoever to play in Tyr anymore. There's no drama or anything going on between me and the others. It's just me not having any joy to play the music and the style of Tyr anymore."
This is some hard fucking truths.
I want to thank Harry Jensen and Gunnar Thompson for all the time we had, and I wish Tyr all the best in the future. And thanks to all the fans and support through the years. More news to follow soon about my future projects, Tyril or Turgil, however you want to go on that. But
Turgil Stimson?
That is no, that'd be the guy from Kentucky. But yeah, I have no desire whatsoever.
Just like I am just done doing this,
and it brings me no joy anymore. I thought, God damn. Then you and I are standing around drinking last night. And then the man was like, God, I wonder what the real reason is. I think he named it. I think he named what the real reason is.
Yeah. It's just, like the reason I brought that up is because they've just finished recording a new album.
Yeah.
You know, they put a lot of work into it, and it's a follow-up to probably their most like commercially successful album yet.
Follow Thrym?
No, that Lathrim came out in 2012, that Valkyria.
Oh. Wow, that one was more commercially successful?
Yeah.
Wow,
it was more acclaimed, more people just dug it more. But they've replaced him already. Mm-hmm. Even though his last show is going to be in August at that Sabaton open air.
Some dirt worshipping bastard from Hungary.
Yeah, Tilavoros. He used to play with Nevermore and Satyricon.
Okay, I was going to ask if there was a reason why I should know him. Probably I know him better from Satyricon.
He replaced I can't remember.
So this guy,
name.
he's like a full-on hired gun.
Yeah, he replaced the guitar player Nevermore, one of the founding members, after he bailed. So he has the chops, but it's basically just like, what do you want me to do? And that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
Because he's coming in on a tour. He doesn't have to worry about recording or nothing. He probably won't have to worry about that for a while now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for a very long time. He might just be a fill-in for their live shit. You know, so.
Beer too.
One of the other things that came up, and this one not really anything going on with today, but social media now has given us the power and the engine to recognize things that had happened in our history on social media. And I had this one that popped up earlier in the week on August 1st.
Fuck, now I'm going to have a flash of anger again.
From 4 years ago, having to do with a Winter Sun update about the crowdfunding of Time 2 and their future albums. This is 4 years ago.
Right when the crowdfunding idea was a seed.
Yeah.
It was just a thought because they were so worried. Well, goddamn
They were going to put out Time 1, and then they were going to follow it up like a couple months later with Time 2.
Yeah, Time 2 was already done.
That's what Yari Minipod
That might have been
said.
So either that's a lie or he's an asshole. Neither are good options.
He's a lying asshole. How's
There you
that?
go.
How's
That's
that?
a
How's
good
that
combo.
suit you? So anyway, so his whole thing is this humongously long diatribe. And why should I beat up on Yari from 4 years ago? Because he's that much of an asshole. That's why. Part of this long diatribe. I live in a small, shitty apartment building, and I have neighbors. Because nobody else does, playing music, right? It is very, very hard to work like this. I can't record vocals. I can't practice my singing. I can't record guitars. I can't record guitars even with modeling amps because the electricity is so bad in this shitty building. So I get lots of interference. I even play and practice the electric guitar acoustically without an amp 99% of the time in my home. I can't record drums or basically any acoustic instruments. He goes on and on and on and on.
I'm getting angry.
It's the whole thing. Back it up. Why he must have his own studio.
And guess what? He got it.
He got it. Is the fucked up thing, really. But so I had noticed that on one particular arm of social media. I said, well, Brandon, the rage has been real for 4 years now. To which then our brother Daryl
right.
comments, says, I just read the whole manifesto. What a whiny little punk. And he's absolutely
right.
right.
And he's like totally outside of that shit, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
That's probably the first thing he's ever read about Winter Sun or like even given a fuck about.
Probably just hearing from word of mouth from us. There it is. There's your reality check.
There it is.
That guy is an asshole.
And like I said in that comment, since you fucking had to remind me about it, that just nearly ruined my whole morning.
Good.
Was basically, and what did we get out of it? He got everything he wanted. We got from what I've heard, a mediocre album.
A very mediocre album that has a lot of stems in case you want to like cut your own shit from Winter Sun's bullshit. But yeah,
shit. And Yari doesn't play guitar live anymore because he can't be bothered with that. That singing is just so difficult to do.
I'm going to start wearing their shirt again, but only ironically. Really, yeah. I think that's the angle now. I'm not wearing it because I'm a fan. I'm going to wear their shit because I stopped wearing it. So I was like, fuck those guys. I don't want to be associated with fucking Yari.
Right.
I think I'm going to start wearing it really just so then that way when people come up and they go, well, I hadn't heard of those guys. Who's that? And I'll say, they're this fucking horrible band that has a golden sauna just outside of Helsinki.
It is your way of carrying the cross through the crowds of people.
It really kind of is.
Because they'll ask you about it, and then you can fill them in on just how big a douche this fucking guy is.
That is, it is my mission.
It's your cross to bear. I knew about Winter Sun before we started rocking.
Yeah.
But I didn't start digging him like hard until.
Time one
came
out,
and
I thought,
like
man,
8 years,
and it blew me away. I thought this is one of the greatest records I've ever heard.
One of the best intro tracks in metal.
Absolutely.
Top 10, I would say.
And you think, God, then they got a follow-up right after this coming up in a few months.
Yeah.
Because Time 1 came out in November 2013? 2013. Yeah. And then Time 2 was going to come out June 2014. And then about August 1st of 2014, Yari went, hold on now.
It's just not ready. It's just not ready.
There's no way this can be done. I was like, wait a minute.
Damn.
I thought you said this thing's done. I thought it was finished. No. And we still don't have Time 2, by the way, here in 2018.
It's because of Yari Menopause, I have a medicinal marijuana card.
And the stuff I've heard off the seasons, and the only reason I've only heard bits and pieces, I ain't giving them a goddamn dime.
I've heard nothing.
I'm not giving them a dime.
I have not heard 1 second.
I heard the Autumn track.
Yeah.
And it's not good. It's mediocre.
And see, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
That's enough for me to know, like, well, then clearly this is going to be something that's going to make me dry heave as well.
Dry heaving music, that's what it really is. Especially if you're one of them that drop like $50 or multiples of $50 in order to get their full package.
Oh.
There's some assholes out there that drop like, they picked up like 6 packages worth. And there were people on social media, I bought like 4 the other day. What are you, stupid?
And like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, they're going to do another one.
Yeah. Yeah, another crowdfunding. I really, realistically, I think the only way to approach this would be I think they're still on Nuclear Blast, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the only smart way is for them to keep them under contract and never put out another release for them again.
Fuck yeah. Just go Nate Diaz on him.
Yeah, you go Major League Baseball pre-73 with a reserve clause. you put them on the shelf, and they can't put out a goddamn thing. And really, then Nuclear Blast would then become my favorite label of all time.
Right. I'm fucking done talking about Yari Menopause and James Hetfield's birthday.
Other things going on in metal today, aside from James Hetfield turning 75 years of age.
Yeah, there's.
Or I guess he's a little younger, but I don't know.
He was born in 63, so he's 55.
Okay.
God damn, that's right.
That is right.
Holy shit.
It doesn't seem right, but it's right.
5 years old. God damn.
Still getting it done.
Still doing work.
Hardwired back November of 2015 or 2016.
Yeah. Anytime I get to talk about Brent Hines on a podcast, I feel like I'm happy.
Okay.
Brent Hines, as we all know, is the ginger face tattooed guitar player in Mastodon.
Yeah.
He is quickly becoming like one of my favorite people in music, and not because of his music.
Well, there is something to be said for people to do great things. Look, and I was one of these before Lemmy died. I'd said, look, I appreciate what Motorhead has tried to do over the years. I appreciate some of the things he has done, but I never put it under the microscope. And I would kind of talk a little bit of shit once in a while or whatever. But I appreciated at the time Lemmy Kilmister way more as a person than anything he did musically.
Right. Yeah.
Well, after he died, then that's when we get retrospective. Sure. Hindsight's always 20/20. And now I recognize this guy was a great musical talent, but that doesn't remove the fact that he was a bad motherfucker.
Sure. Oh, fucking yeah.
And Brent Hines is basically in that same boat.
Yeah, I would not pick a fight with Brent. I wouldn't pick a fight with a guy with face tattoos, for one. 2, especially if he's a ginger, and 3, if he's Brent Hines.
I would probably try to pick a fight with Mike Tyson, but really only just for the legal ramifications, you know.
Yeah, you might actually make some money off of that.
Yeah, that'd be the idea. So what's he up to?
Brent Hines had it was basically just a story. He told us a tale. He recalled a story about how AC/DC's Angus Young told him off.
Anus Young told him off?
Did I call him Anus Young?
No, I did.
Oh.
Because I'm a fan.
Right. So, here's a story. Angus Young was, this is all from quoting Brent Hines.
Okay.
Angus Young was my original first favorite guitar player. And then I met him and I told him that he was my favorite guitar player. And he told me to stop pissing in his pocket. So I told him, fuck off or something. Whatever, right. Fuck off.
Good. That's the proper response, by the way, if you're metal enough.
We were at the Golden God Awards, and one of my liaisons was like, I was supposed to take Angus Young to the bathroom. I know you're a huge fan. Why don't you take him to the bathroom? So I take him, like grab his arm and take him to the bathroom. I was waiting for him, and I was like, hey, man, I just want to thank you for your work. And he just looks at me like I've got shit on my face or something. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, I said. And then he said, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I started playing guitar because of you. And he's like, quit pissing in my pocket. I was like, fuck you, basically. I said, your pocket is way too far down there to piss in.
Well, it sounds like some Angus Young shit.
Yeah, but how many people can say they were basically told to fuck off by Angus Young in the bathroom?
How many people can say that they had to lead Angus Young off to the bathroom so he could relieve himself?
There's a lot of firsts here. And it just happened to be Brent Hines of Mastodon doing it.
Yeah. God,
I mean, that's a weird fucking picture alone. Just him fucking like, come on, Mr. Young.
Yeah, is he wearing his like little stupid schoolboy outfit and shit like that? I mean,
it was the Golden God Awards. I'm sure he's wearing something ridiculous.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Is that I still maintain. You had Malcolm Young, you had Angus Young, all these guys in AC/DC. The wrong Young died. That's in my opinion. But
wrong Young died.
Which I think is also a dish at the local Asian fusion place. I'll take some wrong Young died.
That probably tastes terrible.
I thought you were going to make a remark about my tasteless humor. I was going to say, you're right. I'm on a weird level today.
I will never do that. I will never do that.
Anything else going on in metal? Because we got a lot to cover in MMA.
Not a whole lot. The only other, actually, a gnarly notable birthday, fucking Tony Bennett's birthday is today.
Yeah.
1926. Dude is 92 years old.
Tony Bennett.
And
left my heart in San Francisco guy.
Doing music with Lady Gaga. What the fuck, man? That dude's just working.
Well, he knows where the action's at.
That's true. Apparently it's with whatever.
I don't mean it that way.
I'm sure they fucked at least once.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, good for him. Good for him.
He's Tony fucking Bennett.
Yeah, that's right. Might take a little pump in the exhaust pipe to get it going, but
get a little chug and lug going. Do it.
Thank you, Lady Gaga. Ready to go.
Can you wear that meat dress? Love that meat dress.
All right, let's get to the MMA portion of the evening show.
So how do you want to do this?
I'm going to cut it back a little bit. I have a particular decision that may not be a popular one, but it's certainly my own opinion having to do with the biggest promotion in all of the MMA. I'm going to cut it back because, frankly, nobody wants to hear me bitch for 10, 20 minutes.
Okay, so you want to open up with the grief, and then we'll end up with tomorrow's card.
Yes.
Which there's only 3 fights to talk about anyway.
There's only 3 to talk about. There's better shit to talk about beyond tomorrow.
I would like to preface this by noting that if anybody listened to our podcast last week, you can hear the cracks happening.
Yeah.
In what we're about to talk about. Because, it was the first time ever where it felt like we were just trying to get through. To get through this
that's
card.
A fact. That's
card
a fact.
picks. And I mean, it's never been that way. It took a long time to get here. And I'm not saying I feel the same way you do, but I certainly share a lot of the sentiment that we're about to talk about.
Well, the problem I have is I think the UFC has gone down a very weird path since the ownership changed from the Fertittas over to UMG, which is whatever the hell they are now.
It's been a slow build, but the turn is starting to happen.
And a lot of people were complaining about the Fertittas thing. They were running the organization to the ground. Actually, they did the smartest thing possible. They maintained the top-notch promotion in all of mixed martial arts.
They were in it for the fights.
And they sold that bitch for $4 billion to a bunch of stupid morons out in Hollywood.
Yeah, the motherfuckers like Conan O'Brien. I love Conan O'Brien, but that dude shouldn't have ownership in the UFC. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's like a group of hundreds of these assholes out in Hollywood who think they're better than everybody anyway.
It's like UFC is a privately traded company.
And it is. But the problem is, so they spent $4 billion since they bought the company. Since they bought it. We have that came right after Ronda Rousey getting knocked out by Holly Holm and then not being able to do shit.
And she was a part of that WME package like, hey, guys, that's why we get to sell it for $4 billion.
Yeah.
Look at these athletes you're getting. Look at everything they're doing outside of this sport right now. So
you had Ronda Rousey. Now, granted, the Holly Holm knockout came before the ownership change, but it was right at the very tail end. And that was part of the package. Like, hey, you can still shop around. She'll still sell. You had Conor McGregor, who, just recently getting out of jail for throwing hand trucks at Russians, If that's not a...
And he wasn't even in the goddamn bus.
If that's not a national hero of Ireland, I don't know what is. But, so he was there. Well, he hadn't fought... God, when was Conor's last fight? Against Eddie Alvarez?
205 in November of 2016.
You had John Jones, who, by the way... knocked out Daniel Cormier almost just over 1 year ago and made Cormier blubber and cry like the fat bitch that he is. Anyway, but so
God damn.
Yeah, but so those are the 3 guys. They're looking at John Jones, Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor, IMG, WMG, whatever the hell they are.
WME, IMG.
It's a weird
asshole. We'll call them assholes.
The asshole ownership group of the UFC. So they're banking on the fact, hey, we're going to make money on this. And it turns out their first year, they don't make money. Matter of fact, they lost money their first year.
Yeah.
And things couldn't be better in their second year, I'm thinking, because they have no Conor, they have no Ronda, they have no John Jones. They've got nobody that makes them money.
They got Daniel.
They have Daniel Cormier, who doesn't make shit. Half the people hate him. Half the people might like him. I don't know.
I mean, people probably like him more now than they did before.
Yeah, but if we're going to get down to what it really is that's just because John Jones isn't there to knock him out again. So, but the problem I have with where the UFC, the direction of where it's all going, is that it's getting way too many fake fighting tendencies, and it's starting to get a little weird for me. And it happened when Cormier beat Stipe Miocic. I felt that way then. I wasn't able to really put it to, articulate it then.
Right. Well, it's still fresh.
Yeah. So he wins on a fight Stipe shouldn't have taken anyway, but the promotion doesn't like Stipe, so they're going to make him put that belt on the line against Daniel Cormier. Why does he get an immediate shot when he's not even a heavyweight? Oh, because it's a super fight. Well, fucking where is it? Where's anything in the rules that say, hey, man, you ought to be able to just step in if you're a champ of one division, fight another champ of another division.
Yep.
You do off of this ownership group. That's where you get it. So then he's in. He gets the win. And then they bring in Brock Lesnar, who, by the way, was pissing so hot at UFC 200, he almost burned the building down.
Dude's a goddamn radiated ghoul, man.
I mean, now, granted, 200 was really, that was on the Fertittas, but they knew what they were doing because they said, look, we're going to burn Brock Lesnar. He'll never fight again. But
now 200 on paper was a good card. It's just every big fight fell through.
Yeah, and they had to do what they had to do.
I mean, we had Cormier fighting Anderson Silva, for fuck's sake. And he'll brag about that fight, but it was a boring fight.
I would have liked to have seen Cormier try to fight Anderson Silva 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, bitch ain't cutting 185. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, so they bring in Brock Lesnar because they're setting up, hey, this is it. Cormier, before the fight, when asked who he would want to fight, he said, I want to fight Brock Lesnar.
Who is, by the way, your current WWE champion.
So Brock Lesnar's miraculously in the crowd. Cormier wins. I'm not trying to say that there's some bullshit going on. I'm not trying to say there's some 1919 Chicago White Sox bullshit going on, but it has a weird smell to it.
It does.
I will quote Terrell Owens from 2003 when he was with the San Francisco 49ers. I think it was 03, 04.
Yeah, when Jeff Garcia was fucking quarterback.
Jeff Garcia is a quarterback. And some reporter in the crowd, because this is 14 years ago, so you can ask people anything, said, hey, do you think Jeff Garcia is gay? And Terrell Owens said, well, like my boy tells me, if it looks like a rat and smells like a rat, by golly, it's a rat. Meaning, so he weighed in heavily on that particular item. I am starting to get a very generalized feeling of the UFC as well. I'm not trying to say that there's some bullshit fixing going on. I'm not trying to say there's any of that. But it's not looking good. It's starting to not pass the sniff test.
They're really trying to have these outcomes happen in their favor. I mean, there's no way you could have predicted that Cormier was going to do what he was going to do. But that's what they wanted to happen.
They had everything in place in the event.
They're basically gambling every time. They're gambling every time, and it just seems lately. And like,
what would have happened if Stipe won? What do they come out and fuck you? All right, here's your belt.
I guarantee you, Brock wouldn't have pushed Stipe.
No, and Brock wouldn't probably even got in the octagon.
Yeah, I guarantee you, Brock.
Oh, this shit's off.
Brock Lesnar and Daniel Cormier were hanging out backstage before he came out.
Probably.
I guarantee you, man. Especially if they used to fucking wrestle each other.
And old Brock was giving him the sword backstage.
Yeah. But now that means
a sword tattoo.
Now that means Cormier was giving it to him. I'm fucking just laying that bitch down.
Maybe, I don't know. But the problem I have, it's more pervasive than that because it's not just even that. When the Fertittas left, had the ownership transferred at the time. 0 Brazilian champions. None. Nobody. Brazilians got cleared out of every title. I went, yep, this is a good day for the UFC. Frankly, because Brazilian fighters drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that.
Is not a
I wouldn't put that on the sale. I'd put that more on USADA coming in with their broom.
I think there's a lot of factors. That's
they kind of happened around the same time.
I say thank God the Fertittas brought in USADA at the very end of their ownership because you think this new ownership group would want they want people roided up. They want them jacked, but they can't because that decision is in place and it was done by the Fertittas.
Yeah, and if you were to fucking shut it down, people would look at you as illegitimate
because you're already playing around with some concepts of the WWE. You're already playing. Look, man, if I want to watch the WWE, I'm going to watch the goddamn WWE and know I'm watching fake fighting. Don't try to sell me some shit. Claim, oh, this is legit. And if at the root of it that there's an issue, I don't know. I will say this: if it was not legit, the one person would know would be Chael Sonnen, and he hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah. Well, fuck, that dude's about as pro wrestling as you can get.
Yeah, but he's never fucking lied.
He's like
he
tells you how it is.
Who's that asshole that played for the Oakland A's way back when, and one of the Bash brothers with Mark McGuire? Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he was roided to the max, but he didn't lie. He'd point out everybody. Like that guy was on roids. That guy was on roids. And he wasn't wrong.
Yeah. Well, shit. You never shit a shitter.
So yeah, that's the whole thing. And I think if there were some unsavory things going on in the UFC. I have a feeling that probably Chael Sonnen or somebody like that would probably know. Now, granted, he's not with the organization anymore, so that might be a problem. But
he does work on the channel they're about to be on.
Yeah, that's true, on ESPN. The whole thing, I'm starting to question the validity of the promotion.
Yeah, the validity of the top-tier championship fights.
You get a weird feeling going in. Look, I already have a feeling of what's going to happen right here, and that is that, and the fight's coming up tomorrow, and we'll get into that, but TJ Dillashaw will probably beat Cody Garbrandt, but they're going to bring in, Dominic Cruz for the Dillashaw Cruz 2 7 weeks later.
Yeah, shit, that might actually happen right after the fight. Because we've heard past couple weeks that Dominic Cruz, I didn't even know he was injured, but now he's healthy.
Yeah, well,
apparently this guy can fight every 2 years and get a title shot.
Get a title shot whenever he wants, wherever he wants, wherever he wants. If Cody Garbrandt wins, I think it's the same thing. They're going to go, oh, well, it's Garbrandt, Cruz too.
Cruz don't want to fight Cody Garbrandt.
Cruz is going to win the fucking 135 belt. Tell me I'm wrong.
Do you think Cruz can beat Garbrandt?
No, not legitimately.
I mean, shit, he beat a champ via unanimous decision. He's done it before. He'll do it again.
I know.
And he'll be the champ. So
that's all he's got. He got beat by TJ Dillashaw for 5 straight rounds and won.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was a split decision, but still it was a robbery.
It was definitely a robbery.
Yeah.
The champ didn't get the champ bump that the champ's supposed to get. Everybody expects the champ's going to get a little bit of if you don't know, maybe you go ahead and give him a round you didn't know about.
Fucking A. Yeah. Everyone else gets it, but you ain't going to get it down there 135.
So the problem then becomes, and they let really, really good talent go to other promotions. They let Gegard Mousasi, who should be the middleweight champ right now.
Yeah.
They let him go. Let him go to Bellator.
Roy McDonald gone.
Roy McDonald.
And you notice it because the welterweight division sucks.
That went from being
now.
one of the most stacked divisions. Now it's unwatchable.
Shit, man. When UFC 2, the video game, came out, your first little mission was the goddamn McDonald Lawler welterweight title fight. One of the greatest fights in recent memory.
Not in the promotion. Not in the promotion anymore.
Yeah, it's tough for me to get excited about Woodley and Till.
So what does one do when one has $4 billion invested? Well, and you don't have some of the same assets you used to have.
And the assets you do have, you invest in a guy that hadn't fought in almost 2 years.
That's almost anybody out of AKA except for Daniel Cormier.
Well, I'm talking about Connor.
Well, or Connor.
Your golden goose, the one that will make you at least money. AKA ain't going to make you any goddamn money.
Yeah, once upon a time they did. I don't know about that now.
Cormier Stipe did 450,000 buys.
Oh, my God, that's lethargic.
Super fights, if you're not breaking a mill, then you haven't done your job.
No, they didn't even get halfway there.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
that's another thing. The UFC on Fox card did the worst ratings ever. The worst overnight rating.
And that's on a
on
national network TV.
That's on if you got a goddamn antenna in your shit ass backyard, you can watch some fights. And it had quality fights.
And the problem that I have is that, and look, and if you're thinking I have the answer, I don't, but I can identify the problem. And the problem is that you have 2 tiers in the UFC. A few fighters that they consider to be their top notch.
And most of them are on Fox Sports.
Yeah, and most of them have. That's exactly right. That's the other thing that fucking gets me, is because they have. Yeah, they're fighters, and they also, by the way, they're analysts. So they work for Fox and blah blah blah.
But we've been dealing with that for years.
But it is annoying. How is it that once upon a time every goddamn one of them had a belt? Does that make sense? The odds would say that doesn't make sense.
I can, as far as active fighters go, Eve Edwards, no title
now,
right. Yeah, right as of right now, but he's not really
he wasn't one of their big shots in the lineup.
He's not a Fox Sports. He's around every once in a while, but he's fucking good. He's good at that job, but he's a fighter. He knows what he is. That's why you don't see him every goddamn week. But your Cormiers, your Cruzes, your Bispings, your Woodleys, you don't see him too much these days on there.
Well, I think that's because he's getting ready to prepare for a fight.
Especially when he was injured, he was on there all the fucking time.
Yeah,
it's I gotta admit, the last part of this year is going to decide a lot.
But what I'm saying is the sniff check doesn't work for me. The very top tier, those are the individuals that constantly get title shots. If they're not already holding a title, they're the ones that seem to have all of the breaks. And then you have a whole bunch of assholes that they're not even working to try to bring them up. They're not trying to market them. They're not trying to do the right thing. Once upon a time, go back way back when did Keith Jardine fight? 09, 08, 09 was that his heyday?
He after he beat Liddell, it kind of went downhill. But 09 was
but
his
he
heyday,
was a guy that nobody knew. Once upon a time, they brought him up. They marketed him. How do you think John Jones got to where he was at? They brought him up. They marketed him. They're not doing any of that now.
Yeah, and even though he like his second fight was the Hamill fight that he got DQ'd for the 12-6, they still stood behind him and goddamn paid off.
Yeah, and it did. It paid off
back when they didn't give a fuck about coke or anything.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what the path forward is. It's unfortunate because so much money is on the line. If it doesn't work, if this gambit doesn't pay off, they'll fold the promotion. Because Scott Coker is not going to come in and drop $4 billion to make him whole again.
No. All they got to do is come over to Bellator. If that happens, sign on the dotted line, and all of a sudden Bellator is now your main ship.
But I mean, as a promotion, they've put basically they've gone all in, and if it doesn't pay off, they either have to fold it or take a huge loss. And I really think that they would probably go ahead and fold.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that it'd have to be a hell of a fall.
I think we're seeing that. I think that's where we're at.
Yeah.
And so, and it has made me question what I do on Saturdays.
Right.
Is that's
the big thing.
This is where it all comes together.
That's the big
thing. Thanks for putting up with my fucking 10-minute rant because it turned into that.
I know. I had to get it out.
But the thing is this is where it comes down to. Once upon a time, man, I'm trying to wake up at 4 a.m. and catch some fights in Shanghai, or whatever.
Fight night, fucking Singapore, something gnarly.
But those fights are not great fights. That's the reality. And then we get around to where, okay, cool. I don't care for Fox cards because there's a feeling about it. I don't like the feel of Fox cards.
Yeah.
They feel very weird, and it's going to be the same when they go over to ESPN. It's not going to feel the same.
It's going to feel even weirder.
It's going to feel like you're watching fights at somebody else's house.
They say it's all going to be the same, but there's going to be some differences.
Yeah. So we get around to where, man, I used to know generally 60 to 80% of the people on a card.
Yeah.
We're now at a point about 40%, maybe. And that's not because, hey, it's a great infusion of young people, new people they're bringing in. No, it's not. It's because they're not marketing the people that they should be marketing. They're putting all their chips into a couple of fighters. And that's what they're doing. And what it's doing to me is making me less of a fan of the sport.
Yeah. And it shows. I've noticed.
And I will say this, is that really for the ownership group of the UFC right now, fuck you very much.
Signed, Kevin Robbins.
Well, that's it.
No, and like I said, I'm not gonna get into mine because you basically explained all my grievances as well. It's the which we'll talk about them in rapid fire here, but the fights that have been announced, hopefully we'll dig them out of this financial hole that they are certainly in. But as far as holding on to fans, there's a lot of mending to be done on that fence.
Yeah.
But just really quick, if I'm just gonna fucking mention there was the 25th anniversary of the UFC, the press conference today.
Right.
Some fights were announced.
This is where they kind of give you the outlook for the second half of the year.
Right. I'm just gonna mention some fights that were announced today. Just give me just a hip shot fucking reaction to them.
Okay.
Woodley Till got finalized.
Woodley Till what?
Got finalized.
I thought that was already a done deal.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like batted off back and forth.
My problem is Till can't make weight. If he does, I like Till in that, I think, but I don't think he'll make weight.
Okay. And we knew about this one too. Donald Cerrone and Mike Perry.
Yeah, I don't know what the role of Donald Cerrone is as a company anymore, other than the guy willing to take some losses.
He's the Justin Gaethje. That's what he's doing. He's going in and letting these dudes beat the shit out of him.
He's actually the Gray Maynard, really.
The Gray, yeah. That's actually a little more fair
because he's a veteran. And hey, what looks better on your resume than, hey man, I beat Donald Cerrone. Cerrone now, man, outside of people he likes, he loses. I mean, if he likes you, he's going to kick your ass. But
yeah.
But I mean,
funny thing is
that was
mentioned at the at the press conference today. It's funny you mentioned that. Mike Perry mentioned that. He says, I've noticed that, Donald Cerrone's a great guy. It's hard to not like him, but I've noticed that people, when they act real buddy-buddy with him and kind of friendly, they end up getting beat.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fucking try to get into his head.
Yeah.
Which really, the way to beat Donald Cerrone for sure is to do that.
No, actually, what you got to do with Donald Cerrone is get inside and put him on his back.
Yeah.
That's how you beat him.
Get that shit done in 3 minutes,
That's what Mike Perry will do.
Get it done before he gets started.
I like Donald Cerrone. Don't get me wrong. He's one of my favorite fighters that are still active, but I know what he is.
Put quotes around fighter.
Yeah, well.
But don't put quotes around cowboy.
Right. He's a full-on cowboy.
That's right.
And sometimes fighter. All right.
I'm going to mention 2 more.
Okay.
Dustin Poirier and Nate Diaz, which is apparently on again, off again. But regardless, if this fight happens.
Man. Nate, I think Nate's the way to go on that one, but.
I don't know, man. I think the weird thing about people that have been beaten by Conor McGregor, they go on to do some pretty decent things. Jeremy Stephens was on a hell of a run until he met Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
And even then, he just got caught.
Right.
It wasn't a hole in his game. It was just bad luck.
Sure.
Dustin Poirier is kind of the same way.
Could be.
And
now,
after
Diaz factor is like, okay, so he's 1-1 against Conor. So
yeah. But again, that's off again, on again. We'll talk about the reasoning behind that another time. We'll talk about the drama of the UFC when we got time for it. Sure. We actually want to talk about fights here. But the big one, Khabib Nurmagomedov fighting Conor the motherfucker McGregor in October at 229.
I want to know how Conor comes out on this one. I want to know if he seems like he's the same cocky shit, or if he's like more of a hat and hand guy. Man, if he's the latter, I don't like his chances.
If he's the guy that's like saying, I was so happy to see Jose Aldo win, I don't know if that guy beats Khabib.
That's it.
Because a big part of Conor McGregor's game is obviously his goddamn stand up. That left is amazing.
Getting in people's heads is
getting
his
in people's
thing.
head is almost. It's like right up there with it. The mental game has always been just as big as his fucking actual fight game.
I think the unfortunate thing, and the thing that'll make it even more unfortunate for the UFC, really, for where their money's at, because Russian fighters aren't going to make him shit for money.
No.
I think the unfortunate thing is Khabib's going to get him down on his back, and it's going to go 5 rounds, and it's going to be lame.
Right. Let's see. The only other UFC thing to talk about before the card is apparently Cody Garbrandt dropped some N-words on his Twitter account about 6 years ago.
Yeah, this shit's kind of coming back to haunt a lot of pitchers, major league pitchers, some football players, and
Derek Lewis chimed in.
Oh, good. All right. So what did that N-word say? No.
Well,
no.
Well, if
Derek
you're
Lewis,
still with us.
Yeah, he's
Derek Lewis,
great fighter out of Houston, and he happens to be an African American.
Yeah,
probably would take Cody Garbrandt to task for.
When I read that he had a reaction, I was like, oh shit, Derek Lewis is about to beat the shit out of this little white boy.
A 265-pound man is going to demolish a 135er.
Derek Lewis replies on Twitter, "It's okay, Cody. You're still invited to the barbecue.
Well, there you go.
Not the barbecue. You're still invited to the cookout."
Yeah. Well.
He won't tolerate wife beating, though.
No, nor should he, nor should fucking anybody. But here's the thing, though, is that Derek Lewis strikes me as a guy that probably, if you did some fucking stupid things in your past, that's what it is. Right. And I can kind of see his reasoning. So,
And now we will move on. We're going rapid fire because the big focus of this part was really your grievances and my agreeing to your grievances.
The rage cast on the MMA side.
But we do have a pay-per-view tomorrow, and it's rather large if you tune in right at the pay-per-view. Normally we'll go through the preliminary card and the early prelim. We're not going to do that because less than half the people have Wikipedia pages.
Okay.
These are a lot of people making debuts.
So this really kind of feeds the argument that they're bringing in assholes nobody's ever heard of.
Marlon Vera, Brandon Vera's brother, is opening the Fight Pass prelims. And I've never seen him fight. I'm sure I've seen him fight, but I don't remember him fight. As far as that, Brett Johns is on the preliminary card in the closer.
She's the guy that did the whole song like in some down in my Chevy van.
Sounds relatively familiar.
No, that's Terry Jacks. Sorry, I had it wrong.
Terry Crews. But your main card, it starts to pick up. You got a middleweight Thiago Santos, a name we're familiar with, fighting Kevin Holland. Whatever. Polyana Viana fighting J.J. Aldrich, women's strawweight. Whatever. Featherweight. Cub Swanson fighting Renato Moicano.
Okay, so this is the only part where the card gets good. Up to this point, it sounded like you're reading off some shit.
If you watch the whole card, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some great fights. There's always a chance
I have no
there.
doubt. But the problem is it's not going to be anybody you know.
Star quality, now we're hitting star quality.
So Cub Swanson's fighting who?
Hanato Moicano.
I got Moicano in that one. Probably a finish.
I'm going Cub Swanson by decision. I think he's going to win on his soil.
I'd like to know which Cub Swanson we get. It's the problem with that.
We're getting the one with the Cheech Marin fucking mustache.
Consistency.
That's the one we're getting.
Consistency has been this guy's problem.
I'll always pick someone with a really good mustache.
He's separated mayonnaise. You never know if you're going to get the liquid stuff or the cream stuff.
If you're getting oil or egg. I'm picking Cub via decision.
I got Moicano by a finish.
Fair enough. Co-main event. So how do you have Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson beating Henry Cejudo this time?
The promotion wants Cejudo to win.
Of course.
So therefore, I think Cejudo wins.
Do you think they want him to win, though? Because they want that super fight with whoever's the 135 champ.
Well,
Cody or
TJ
will do it. They've both said they're interested.
Really? I knew that TJ, that's his desire. Get this defense, fuck Dominic Cruz. Go down to 125 and get that super fight.
Yeah.
Which I think would be great. That's the fight I'd like to see. The result I want to see Demetrius get a win. I want to see him get a win. Let's see, how did the first fight go? Was that
that was a knee to the liver?
Yeah, that was
the first round?
Finish in the first.
That was a finish in the first.
And Mighty Mouse says the second time around, he finishes him faster. If that's the case, shit, man, it's going to be some crazy stuff going on.
Cejudo has improved. You got to notice that.
Yeah,
I've noticed that in his fights, but he's fighting the best in the world.
That's the reality. Is probably the most skilled fighter who has ever stepped in the octagon.
Bottom. The only person to expose him was a guy that won a reality show.
Yeah.
Tim Elliott gave him the biggest run for his money.
But again, and he had even admitted that maybe that was because he didn't know the guy well enough.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to get him.
Yeah.
Is be like, I'm throwing this guy at you. And you have 5 minutes to get ready.
I think that the promotion definitely wants Cejudo to win, but I mean, it's hard for me to actually legitimately pick against Demetrius Johnson.
I can't do it.
I would say probably a finish, and you know what? Let me just even go conservative. I'd say Demetrius Johnson. I say Demetrius Johnson by 49-46. But
you think it's going to go the distance?
Yeah, that's the conservative pick. Honest to God, I don't know. I hate to pick Cejudo because I think that
I'm not going to pick Cejudo.
I think that the promotion wants him to win so bad. We'll see if things are on the up and up.
I got Mighty Mouse by second round finish.
Good. That's a good pick.
Your main event, and then I promise we might shut up.
International Beer Day.
Fucking TJ Dillashaw.
TJ Dilettante.
TJ Debutante. Fighting Cody No Love Garbrandt. I think this is going to end pretty similar to the first one. I wish I had a more expanded explanation, but I don't think Cody Garbrandt expanded his game. I know TJ did.
TJ gets better every fight is kind of the weird thing.
Yeah, and now he's active and he's the champ. He's great as champ.
Joe Rogan had pointed out that he's one of the few fighters that keeps getting better with every fight, and we haven't seen the best TJ Dillashaw yet. That's a couple fights down the road probably.
Right. The best TJ Dillashaw you see is the one you saw in the last fight because he gets better and better.
And Cody Garbrandt, I think you're probably right. I don't know.
Dude went back and got a little strength in his punching, maybe got a little faster, a little more accurate. But do you think he's incorporating any type of kickboxing or ground game into this fight? No fucking way.
I think we're going to see a replay of the first fight. I really do. And I think, and probably in more ways than we imagine.
The only difference is I don't think Dillashaw gets dropped in this one.
Yeah.
I don't think Garbrandt's going to catch him on this one.
I think that's the thing, too, is that one, it's going to come down to who gets caught.
Garbrandt has the ability to catch him.
Sure.
I don't think he's going to.
Well, he caught Cruz. Cruz, that goofy, stupid Mickey Mouse
looking fight. He caught Cruz for almost
a
half an hour, yeah.
Yeah. And that one that dropped him finally,
Yeah, and then just moonwalked all over the place.
Yeah, and it's,
which is fine if you're dominating a guy. That's the only time it's fine.
The problem is going to be for me on picks on this one, I want TJ to win. I think the promotion legitimately wants Garbrandt to win. So my pick, though, is probably going to be hampered by what I want. And what I want is TJ Dillashaw to still be champ after this fight. So I say TJ by a finish in the fourth.
Well, that's the thing. If Dillashaw is able to finish the fight, fuck the plans of the higher ups. This guy is gonna put Garbrandt down. I don't know if it might even be in the first round.
I will just say that if we get a Garbrandt finish and a Cejudo finish, I think the fix is on.
You think it reeks of collusion?
It'll smell a little worse to me than it already does.
I don't know, man. If Cejudo's able to go in for 25 minutes and show that you got to dominate him, though. You have to be definitive. You have to dominate.
Yeah.
There can't be a doubt in your mind, or else those judges are going Mighty Mouse because he's the fucking man.
Yeah, always has been.
So you're going.
I'm going Dillashaw 4th round finish.
Going Dillashaw 1st round finish.
Oh wow!
I think we wrap up that pay-per-view early.
I hope your picks are right because that's going to be a much better night.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what we need as we lead into hopefully some great fucking cards. And now we will move on to picks. What's you drinking, man? Is it going to be beer?
We as we go into what the picks are, it's International Beer Day. I'd feel like some kind of fucking commie if I was drinking anything other than beer. And I'm going to do it in the greatest way possible, and that is with the king of beers, and that is Budweiser.
Bud Heavy. I second that.
Oh, okay. I was like, what do you say, sir?
I just called them Bud Heavies.
Yeah. All right.
I'll be drinking that, whatever's left.
All right, then we move on to metal. Well, it being James Hetfield's birthday, well, shit, I feel like I'm actually obligated to go ahead and say Metallica, Fade to Black.
I'm going Metallica, Spit Out the Bone.
Oh, lordy. Going a little...
going recent and one of my top 5 favorite Metallica songs.
Good man. All right. Fights. As far as the fight picks go, I mean, sometimes we'll pick some shit from the past, but we have a very good card on the last 3 fights of the night tomorrow.
I think Khabib beats Conor.
Oh, that's down the road.
And I think Khabib might finish Conor.
Yeah, I think that's probably...
I think ground and pound. I think ground and pound's going to... It just all depends. I mean, I want that fight to happen. I'm so happy it's happening. I am not a Conor McGregor fan, but I'm a fan of this fight.
Yeah. I'm going to go... I'm going to go Dillashaw by a finish of some kind tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be hands. Could you imagine him fucking choking Garbrandt to sleep? That'd be amazing.
That'd be not.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. All right.
Well, dude, looking forward to tomorrow, man.
That is the show. UFC 227 tomorrow. Festivities kick off normal time, I believe. So, yeah.
Yeah, 4:15. I think is when Mountain Time is when Fight Pass prelims start.
All right. All right. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. Hopefully, I didn't offend too many people again.
Officially our longest podcast.
Oh, really? Shit. Oh, sorry about that.
By like 3 minutes.
I know, but people usually say, could you keep it under an hour? Yeah, we try.
Hey, you know what, bitches? Skip to the good shit if you want.
That's right. All right. Yeah, Fade to Black because I control the music. So there it is.
Yeah, that's
so,
it. Yeah. Just like Terji not wanting to play with Tyr no more. That's about the best explanation I've heard from music ever.
Good.
I'm playing this because I want to and I have control.
That's it. See you next week.